Hello, Orange here. Good morning, good afternoon, or whatever. Welcome to the Gangstalking universe. In today's episode, I will try to make definition or pre-definition of gangstalking according to my experience and my point of view after what I have experienced in that matter in my life until now. So, according to what I noticed of being gangstalked for last half year, overtly and covertly around 1 year prior to this year, so in total 1.5 year, I can strongly assume that I have been gangstalked. So, how I look at this? I seen that a social phenomena that could be investigated by psychologists and sociologists. Maybe if public would acknowledge that this problem exists within at least Western societies, then there is a chance that this will be checked. So, as a social phenomena, I see it as a situation in which you have a group of people, possibly constructed from disturbed people who have a fanatic-like or gang-like mentality. And the situation is when those kind of people gather together under umbrella of idea of why particular one chosen person shall be stalked and that particular person's life shall be destroyed. So what they actually do, they prosecute chosen individual, chosen person. Within the internet you can find those people claiming to be so-called targeted individuals. So for sake of not changing understanding within community, I will try to state or let's say name as a targeted individuals, but in my point of view it is just a picked up chosen person to be harassed, especially socially harassed. So the gang stalking or group stalking in that case is when those particular amount of people, it might be neighborhood, it might be whole city, it might be several groups within the country. I'm from Europe, so here it's particularly relevant to that because I don't think every citizen in particular country is involved in such an heinous and actually sadistic activity. So when those people gather together under that kind of ideology that they should prosecute particular chosen person, they commit a lot of psychological and mental pressure upon a chosen person. So the result of that is that the person, because of mental distress and very often a damaged reputation, is slowly degrading from the level of life which was prior to when the gang stalking have started to happen in the particular person's life. So here on my channel I will look at this from that point of view. I'm not really into looking after conspiracy theories about agencies or directed energy weapons involved yet. I would probably sometimes mention it and try to disassemble those ideas, because whenever you have possibility that group of people will agree upon some kind of activities together and they want to stay covered, you can assume actually it is already a kind of conspiracy which they create So we live in a world where conspiracy theories is just natural thing to start to happening. And from my point of view, it's just a human behavior at this moment, especially with given technology and access to the World Wide Web and constant connection between each other. So, as I mentioned, from my perspective, those people are gang-like or fanatic-like minded people. And previous videos, I have stated that it is connected to disturbance in their personalities, which might be considered as narcissistic personality disorder or a psychopathy. And I also believe that borderlines and histrionics are into that as well. So mostly cluster B personality disorders are involved in that kind of let's say pattern of behavior. And what is actually to be observed from the perspective of somebody who was targeted by a group of people that is harassing socially a particular person for whatever reason it is, because nowadays in today's cancel culture you just need wrong doing in the eyes of many people, which is very often just a point of view, and that person is being socially harassed as well. So that also could be considered as a gangstalking. But what the particular individual will observe from his perspective is what is described in psychology as a formation of the mass psychosis. So those people are getting argument. From my perspective and based on my experience, that creates the trigger for them that they will start to engage in such an heinous activity, and they will start to prosecute a particular person in order to achieve the goal, which is most of the time pushing the person downward the social ladder, that maybe that person will lose anger control and land up in a prison. Maybe that particular person will start to get really psychotic and paranoid to the extent that will start to look for the specialist from the distance, like somebody with serious mental health problems, or even up to the suicide. So I think this case is serious and should be discussed and investigated. And people who are claiming that they have been targeted, they should be going in public, and no matter how much kind of shame or guilt they could have within themselves, because this all gangstalking is also constructed from the shame campaign, when this particular individuals pick up on shameful aspect of the life of the targeted person and try to use it against that person. So this whole gangstalking is actually a creation of type of narrative which is antagonistic towards individual which is experiencing that. So from the surface you could imagine it if you never experience it, and probably if you are not on one of the sides of this. So if you are not creating gangstalking, or you are not targeted by gangstalkers, you might consider it quite unbelievable, because there are logical arguments which could let's say diminish the claims of targeted peoples, especially when you have a lot of disinformation within the internet. But if you will think about it, how many times you have seen lies of politicians, how many times you have seen trickery and mockery altogether, or if you will remind yourself the situation back in time from your life when you were at school, at high school, and you got those groups of people that were creating rumors, gossiping around particular chosen person, and very often what was reality afterwards, that was most of them were lies, but because people were picking up on those activities and maybe they enjoyed participate in it, those particular individuals were suffering greatly from a social distress. So it doesn't change much when we grow up into adolescence. Most of the disturbed narcissists, psychopaths, so cluster Bs, are learning themselves how to hide their own agenda and way of behaving. And if you multiply it by a amount of people in Earth, and you will try to find real statistics of people who have those personality disorders, then you could conclude it's very real. So up to now, what I explained, it's a particular definition which I have chosen. So it's underlying basis for this channel. It is social phenomena constructed from individuals which have disturbed personalities, and later in next episode I will try to put emphasis on that aspect, because literally from my point of view it is at its core exactly what I have picked on. So therefore, if you are targeted, focus on that idea. Those are groups of fanatics which are chasing some kind of ideology which justifies their decisions and their behaviors, which are the part of their pattern of behavior and activities which they do. And I think if the only thing that drives them to do this is actually feeling of hatred and feeling of joy from heinous behavior which they do. So for today's episode it would be all. Thank you for your attention, and if you like it, please stay tuned. More will come. At the moment I don't have regular time, but if you're interested and you are not involved directly, please try to find real information about that and spread it in public, because this issue should be actually uncovered. I think it's already the time for this to happen, because there are many people who are suffering from that, and those people are not receiving help which they supposed to receive, and enough support, because it's like a fighting of one person against a group. So it's like a David and Goliath situation. So if you have somebody in your environment who is actually suffering from that, please imagine to be in such a situation, and because of lack of correct and truthful information, those people also cannot find correct answers for themselves in order how to survive in such a situation. Therefore, maybe if you would propose finding solution from my channel or from different other individuals which are actually creating truthful content. There's not many yet in the internet, but I believe more of us will start to show up. Then yes, this is how you can contribute. So thank you for your attention, and that's all for today. Have a nice evening or a nice day, whatever or whatever time you're watching it. Cheers.